Right? Shankaracharya goes forward. He says, now for this subtle body, the special state is dream. Like we have seen for gross body, the special state is waking. Like that for subtle body, special state is dream. Let us see. Verse number 98. स्वप्नो भवत्यस्य विभक्त्यवस्था स्वमात्रशेषेण विभाति यत्र स्वप्ने तु बुद्धिः स्वयमेव जाग्रत्कालीन नानाविधवासनाभिः. जाग्रत्कालीन नानाविधवासनाभिः. One word. For tune, we are breaking it in after Jagrat, but the word is not breaking there. What does it say? He says, Swapnah bhavati asya vibhakti avastha. Asya, for this subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, Swapnah, dream. Dream becomes bhavati asya vibhakti avastha. Vibhakti avastha means distinct state. Special state. Special state, why? Because in the waking also subtle body is there. Of course it is there. Without that, how can we experience? Gross body cannot function unless there is a subtle body behind it. So actually in the waking state, all three bodies are there. The gross body is also there, subtle is also there, causal is also there. But in dream, what is special? Yatra swamatra sheshena vibhati. Yatra, where in this dream, vibhati, it shines. This subtle body shines, swamatra sheshena, by it remaining alone. Means what? The gross body is not there. In the waking, the gross world is experienced through the sense organs. Gross body is functioning. In the dream, what happens? Gross body is lying on the bed. And what? The subtle body is creating complete world, dream world. It alone is there. Swamatra sheshena vibhati. Right? Swapne tu, in the dream, buddhihi swayameva. There, swayameva vibhati. That vibhati has to come here also. In the dream, this buddhi, now you see immediately. Here when it is said buddhi, buddhi means entire antakarana. Not that the intellect alone is. No. Entire antakarana, what is it doing? Jagrat kalina nanavidha vasanabhihi vibhati shines. The mind shines on its own in the dream. How? Jagrat kalina nanavidha vasanabhihi. Through the impressions, vasana, through the impressions, nanavidha, of various kinds, gathered at the time of waking. Jagrat kalina. Kalina means time of. So, in the dream, the mind itself projects the entire world through the impressions gathered in the waking state. Careful. Swapna, dream, is the special state for this subtle body. Why? Because in that state, it alone is there. And what is it doing? It is projecting an entire world. But based on what? Based on the impressions gathered in the waking. Okay? See, all words, whether you understand or not. Swapnaha bhavati asya vibhakti avastha. Swamatra sheshena vibhati yatra. Swapne tu buddhis swayameva jagrat kalina nana vida vasanabhi. Okay, so now here, one point you note. Though we saw that subtle body has got so many things put together, 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, 5 pranas, antakarana chatushtaya, then 5 subtle elements, avidya, kama, karma, vasana, everything is there. But in simple terms, when we say subtle body, we mean mind. It is as simple as that. Subtle instrument is mind. So body, gross. Mind, subtle. You can go on explaining that actually that subtle instrument has got not just mind, but mind and intellect. Then you will say not just mind and intellect, but mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Not just that, but 5 organs of perception. You can add all that. But in simple conversational usage, we say mind. So dream is created by mind. Now don't say, no, entire subtle body. It is thoughts, it is mind. Simple. Okay. Now here you see how Shankaracharya is explaining also. In another text, Tattva Bodha also, Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives the definition. What is Swapna Avastha? What is dream state? Jagradavasthayam, yad drashtam, yad shrutam, tajjanita vasanaya, nidra samaye, yaf prapanchaf pratiyate, sa swapna avastha, sukshma sharira abhimani atma, taijasa ityuchyate. He says Jagradavasthayam, during waking state, yad drashtam, that which is seen, yat shrutam, that which is heard, means anything that is perceived, all kinds of impressions that you have gathered, all kinds of experiences, perceptions that you have gathered, tajjanita vasanaya, through the impressions created by those experiences, nidra samaye, at the time of sleep, yaf prapanchaf pratiyate, the entire world that is created by whom? Mind, subtle body. Yaf prapanchaf pratiyate, sa swapna avastha, that is called as dream. So what are we doing? In the waking, like a camera, we are shooting everything. Shoot. And then in the dream, what is happening? We are projecting. But remember, in the movie, whatever is shot is not shown. Isn't it? They may have shot many more things. Each scene, they may have shot 5, 10, 20, 50 times sometimes. Are all those 50 times shown? No. They select one. And that one is shown. Sometimes some scenes are not shown at all. Cut, they say. Why? The time was too long. But something that is not shot, can it be shown? Not possible. Everything that is shot will not be shown. Fine. But something that is not shot can never be shown. Which means what? In the dream, I cannot see something which I have never seen or never experienced. Here seen is, we are just using seen as one example. Because most of our experiences are by seeing. But when I say seen means what? Hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, everything. If I have not experienced it in the waking, I can never see in the dream. But funny combinations of what I have seen can be seen in the dream. We can see in the dream an elephant is flying. Now you will ask me question, when in the waking did we see elephant flying? Elephant cannot fly. No, my dear, but you saw elephant in the waking. You saw butterfly in the waking. Now what has happened in the dream? Your mind has combined two. The body of elephant and wings of butterfly. And with the tiny wings of butterfly, the elephant is flying. Now your dream, you can see whatever you want. What happens is, the intellect is actually sleeping. The logical factor is sleeping. Therefore, mind goes on full rampage. Whatever it could not say in the waking, whatever it could not do in the waking, it does everything in dream. Also, you will see that if there is some important incidents happened in waking, then the impression will be stronger and therefore it will be seen in dream. Whereas not all experiences are seen in the dream. Everything that we go through waking is not seen in the dream. Therefore, tajjanita vasanaya jagrita kalina nanavida vasana bhi. If it has created impression, stronger the impression, more possibility of it being seen in the dream. Sometimes the impression is so strong that repeated dreams we get of the same experience. Either good experience, bad experience, that is a different thing, but impression is strong. Right? This is called as what? Subtle body and its special state, swapna, dream. Right? Now Shankaracharya says, but I am not this subtle body. Don't forget the purpose. Nothing is explained to explain that thing. Everything is explained to explain something else. Gross body we did not study to understand gross body. Why? Because that can be learnt in anatomy class, biology class. This mind etc. we are not studying to understand mind. That you can understand from psychology class. Here the purpose is what? To understand that this is my instrument. I am not this. I think I am this because it is upadhi. So it throws its properties on me and therefore I think wrongly that I am this, but actually I am not that.
If you say I am happy, then there will be a point where I will be sad. When I say I am happiness, there is no possibility of sorrow. Because that becomes my nature and nature cannot be changed. Now, question. Who says I am happiness? No. Shastra say. No, I don't agree. Means what? See, just think. Shastra says that I am existence. That I can understand. Because I exist and I want to always exist. Okay, that feeling is there. I understand that I am existence. I am consciousness. To some extent I understand. Why? Because I know things. I want to know things. Though there are things that I don't know, but I know that I don't know those things. Isn't it? So knowledge being my nature, consciousness being my nature, sentiency being my nature, that also I can imagine. But how am I nature of bliss? And not only me, you are saying is each jiva is actually of the nature of bliss. That's what you are saying. How? There are so many people who are totally immersed in sorrow, depressed, dejected, no idea where the life is going. How can you say that they are of the nature of bliss? And sometimes I am also like them. Right now I may not be that sad, but I do have that feeling. Some point of time I do become like that. How can you say that I am not that sorrowful person? I am the self which is of the nature of bliss. How can you say that? Now that is what is analyzed logically in next verse. But before we go there, some background thinking has to be done. See, when do I become happy? These are now things which I am going to ask so many questions. You have to think, okay? When do I become happy? I become happy at any time. No. There will be some kind of pattern. Just think about the pattern. Generally, I am happy early morning. But later on, don't jump. Slowly. During the day also you become happy. When? When I get good tea. Very good. One reason of happiness you have found. No, tea doesn't matter for me. I should get good food. Okay, food. Both don't matter for me much. I should be with good people, good climate, good environment. Actually, Vedji, when I don't meet anybody, that is the moment that I am most happy. These people create all the nuisance, I am telling you. Okay, fine. Now, when I am saying good tea, good food, good people, good environment, good climate, what I mean? The tea that I want, that I like, the food that I like, the people that I like, the environment that I like, everywhere, what I like, if I have, I am happy. Now, when I will be sad? Two reasons. Number one, I like, but I don't have it. Or I don't like, but I have it. Two ways I can be sad. I like to eat good food, or let us say whatever, poha, let us say, example. I like poha, I don't get poha, I am sad. One reason of sorrow. I don't like this person, but he is there with me, I am sad. Another reason for sorrow. So my happiness and sorrow is dependent on what I like and what I don't like. That's what was said in the previous verse also. Vishayanam anukulye sukhi. When the objects and beings are favorable to me, I am happy. When they are non-favorable to me, viparyaye, in other way, dukkhi, I become sad. Now, do you mean to say that happiness is in those favorable objects? Think. When I get ice cream, I am happy. When I don't get ice cream, I am sad. Therefore, happiness gives me, ice cream gives me happiness. Simple mathematics. Up to here, okay? The question is not whether ice cream gives you happiness or not. Question is, does ice cream have happiness to give you? It should have, no? It should have that quality in order to give it to me. Does ice cream have happiness in it? Think and tell. Does ice cream have happiness in it? Remember, number one, if ice cream has happiness, it should give happiness to all. Does it give happiness to all? Does everybody like same flavor of ice cream? No. No, but you said favorable. Even if you say it is my favorite flavor of ice cream, does it give happiness to me at all times? No. Suppose I have my favorite ice cream in my hand, but I hear a bad news about somebody I no more enjoy the ice cream. Remember, the ice cream is same. The happiness that you are going to get from it supposed to be same, but it is not same. Why? Because you have heard a bad news. Now what has happened? What has happened? This kind of experiences explain to me that happiness is not in the objects. If the joy or happiness was in the objects, it should give joy to all and it should give joy to me at all times. Both don't happen. It cannot be in the objects. Then why do I experience joy when I get favorable objects? Because your mind was disturbed when you had desire for those objects. Now, the moment that desire is fulfilled and you get the object, your mind is relatively quieter. Relatively. Why? There was one less desire. There was one extra desire which is not there now. Therefore, you are relatively happy. Not actually happy. Relatively happy. Imagine something like a thick sheet of cardboard. A thick sheet, big. Behind that sheet of cardboard, there is a light, focus light. Now, because of the thick sheet, the light doesn't go on the other side. Now, suppose you create one hole in that cardboard sheet. What happens? That ray of light comes. One small ray comes. Now, suppose you create a few more holes. What will happen? Some more rays of light will come. Now, that thick sheet of cardboard is our mind, which is filled with desires. When one desire is fulfilled, one hole is created. And the happiness, the light comes out. I experience that much happiness. Now remember, if it was a strong desire which was there for a long time, which is fulfilled, a slightly bigger hole is created. And therefore, slightly more happy I become. So, my happiness is directly proportional to desires fulfilled. But this is only relative happiness. Why? Because I don't know what is my total happiness. I am only saying that last moment when there was desire, I was less happy. Now that desire is fulfilled, I am more happy. But it is only relative. What is the actual happiness? So the formula, mathematical formula, which I think we had seen earlier, Gurudev had given this formula. Happiness is equal to number of desires fulfilled divided by total number of desires. So suppose I have 100 desires, one desire is fulfilled. How much is my happiness? 0.01. Some of you would have forgotten mathematics. No problem, it's okay. 0.01 unit is my happiness. Suppose 10 desires are fulfilled, 10 by 100, 0.1 is my happiness. But Veji, what if 100 desires are fulfilled? Even if 100 desires are fulfilled, my happiness is 1 unit. 100 by 100. Such situation will never happen. But mathematically speaking, 100 by 100. Now what happens? The moment I try to fulfill more and more desires, I also create more desires. I wanted ice cream. I fulfilled my desire by getting ice cream, but I have created more desires that I want more ice cream. There are no desires which just are satisfied with one experience. It never happens like that. For example, suppose you say that in cold season, or let us say when it is raining, oh, Veggie, you should hot tea and bhaji. Hot, fried, spicy food items. Now this is the present desire. Suppose you get tea and bhaji right now, do you mean to say the desire is gone? No, it is strengthened. Every single time that it will rain hereafter, you will have that wish. Whether you will get it or not is a different thing altogether. But you will have that wish. Earlier, if you remember, we had seen the concept of vasanas. These desires are coming out from vasanas. With every fulfillment of desire, We are increasing our vasanas, which means we are increasing our future desires. Don't forget that. Which means what? More I go on fulfilling desires, numerator, the denominator keeps on increasing exponentially. As a result of which, I am never completely happy. So one way of being happy is what? Reduce the denominator. You understand numerator, denominator? Number of desires fulfilled. If I go on increasing, happiness will increase because directly proportional. Okay, fine. But we saw that when this goes on increasing, the denominator also goes on increasing. So the happiness remains same, or rather it reduces. So instead of increasing numerator, you reduce the denominator. Means what? Have less and less desires. Then what will happen? See, even if you have no desires, some desires will automatically get fulfilled. You don't have it, but it is there. For example, I am sitting and it is raining. I don't have desire for tea, but somebody comes and asks, do you want tea? See, I don't have desire, but the tea comes. But because I did not have desire, I was not sad before. But I am happy now. I was happy before also because there was no desire. You see, you reduce the denominator, happiness will go on increasing. So when the denominator tends to 0 means it approaches 0, happiness will tend to infinity, because anything divided by 0 is infinity. Mathematics I am saying. But this is only technically. So one way of being happy in life is what? Reduce the number of desires. Often people ask this question, and I always tell the same thing, that our grandparents were happier than us. Why? Because they had lesser desires than us. I agree that they had lesser objects than us. I agree. They didn't have laptop, they didn't have phone, they didn't have... 100% agree. Majority of them didn't even have their own house. They were living in a rented house. Still they were happy. Why? Because they had less number of desires. Contentment was there in their life. It is desires which clouds our contentment and creates sorrow. So one way of being happy is to reduce the number of desires. Okay, what is the another way? Another way is to find out the source of happiness. What is that source of happiness? Where is that happiness? Right now we understood that the happiness is not in the objects. Remember, because if it is in the objects, then the object should give joy to all and it should give joy to me at all times. If it is not outside, it has to be in me. The source of happiness has to be in me. And that's why if you carefully see all these emojis, etc., WhatsApp, Facebook, all these emojis are there, no? You will see whenever the emoji is to show or portray happiness, eyes will be closed. Why? Because even the person who made the emojis knows that the happiness is inside. You don't actually need eyes to, express that. You yourself also reflect and think. When we are absolutely happy, we close our eyes. Even a small joy of hot tea, the moment we take, we close our eyes. Think about it. So happiness is in me. Now, in me means, in me there are so many factors. Which part of me is that happiness? See, happiness is not outside, so it has to be inside. Agreed. Now, in me there are so many factors. Which of it is that happiness? Is it my body? Is it my pranas? Is it my senses? Is it my mind? What exactly? Now, this is where the Shastra comes. and helps us and says, happiness is not in you. Happiness is you. It is not that you have happiness. You are happiness. That's what it says. No. This is the now Veg is not done. Not a good idea at all. Why? You said that you are going to prove logically that I am happiness. Now again you are saying that only Shastras will tell. No. I will prove logically also. How logically? You see. We said that I become happy when I get favorable objects. Okay. Now let us go around it from other angle. Which are the objects that I like? Which are the objects or people that I love or that I like? Which are they? Those which give me happiness. Yes or no? I like my watch. Why? Because it gives me happiness. Suppose the watch no more gives me happiness. I no more like it. When I get new watch, what happens? I like that watch more. Why? Because that is giving me more happiness than this. I can give the same example for people also, but it will be too much. That's why I am giving for objects. But that's the fact. I like a person because that person gives me joy. The moment somebody else gives me more joy, that person becomes more dear to me than the previous person. So my liking for any object or the person depends on how much joy I am getting from it. No doubt that it is desire only which is getting converted into joy, because being with that person or object fulfills my desire. So we are not discussing that point now. That is clear, that is understood. The point here is what? I like what gives me joy. Do you agree? And of course converse is true. I don't like what doesn't give me joy, or what gives me sorrow I don't like. Fine. Now, what do I like the most? Or whom do I like the most? Think for a moment that you have been asked this question very personally when nobody else is hearing. Now answer. When people are hearing, then you will have different answers. Oh, I love my wife most, I love my husband most, I love my child. Think that nobody is listening to your answer. Now answer. Whom do I like the most? I like myself only the most. I may say that I like my son most. But remember, you like your son because he is your son. You may say I like my mother the most. It is your mother, therefore you are. So it is still I love myself the most because that person is my mother or my son. I also like that person. I like myself the most. No, Veggie. What about those people who commit suicide? They don't like themselves. That's why they are committing suicide. Wrong. They also like themselves the most. Rather, they are the proof that I like myself the most. To which extent can I go to save myself? To the extent of giving up the body. I am of the nature of happiness. Certain things, physical or mental, are keeping me sad. I don't like myself to be sad. I don't mind destroying my own body to get back to that state of being happy. People who commit suicide, they have this thought that by doing this, I will be happy. Why? Because right now I am in extreme sorrow. So even they giving up their body, destroying their body is a sign of they seeking happiness, loving themselves. They have gone to the extreme. Every single person loves oneself the most. Do you agree? See, our ego will not agree to this very easily. We'll say, no, 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 I'm a very selfless person. Oh, no problem. Still, you love yourself the most. Now, careful. First sentence was, I love what gives me joy. Object or being. Second sentence, I love myself the most. Put these two sentences together. What does it mean? I give joy to myself the most. Correct? Correct? I love what gives me joy. I love myself the most means I give joy most to myself. Now, in order to give joy, I must have joy. And since I give joy maximum to myself, or since I give maximum joy, I must have maximum joy. I must be of the nature of joy. I must be of the nature of bliss. Then alone I can give joy to myself. Then alone I can become most favorite of myself. Then only I can love myself the most. Are you getting? Vedji, what is the point? The point is, I am of the nature of bliss. Now, since I don't know that, I want to be happy. Because I don't know I am of the nature of bliss. Now, to be happy, I seek favorable objects and favorable people. Why? Because they give me joy. I think they give me joy. Right? Somehow in this entire thing we forget that the joy that they are giving me is not their joy, it is my own inherent joy that is coming back to me, so to say, when I get favorable object. That cardboard sheet of desires, holes in it, fulfillment of desires, there is that light, the source of all light, that is me, the source of all happiness. So to say, I think that I am not this, therefore I think myself to be something else, I want to be happy, want to get favorable objects and people, and then want to feel that happiness. In all these, we forget that even the joy that I experience when I get the favorable objects is not because of the object, but is because of my own true nature. No doubt I become happy when I eat ice cream, but the joy that I get from ice cream is not inherent to the ice cream, it is inherent to me. This is what Shankaracharya says in the next verse. Let us read the verse, we will understand the meaning. आत्मार्थत्वेन हि प्रेयान् विषयो न स्वतः प्रियः स्वत एव हि सर्वेषां
सर्वेषाम्
आत्मा प्रियतमो यतः
आत्मा प्रियतमो यतः
तत आत्मा सदानन्दः
तत आत्मा सदानन्दः
नास्य दुःखं कदाचन
नास्य कदाचन
आत्मार्थत्वेन हि प्रेयान् विषयो न स्वतः प्रियः स्वत एव हि सर्वेषाम् आत्मा प्रियतमो यतः तत आत्मा सदानन्दो नास्य दुःखं कदाचन. Whatever we just saw in English is said here in Sanskrit. Vishayah preyan. Objects preyan. Preyan means what? Are Vishayah, singular is used. Object is preyan, pleasurable. Why? Atmarthatvena, because of the self. Means what? Because I am of the nature of bliss and I love myself the most and I think that the object is giving me joy, therefore object is pleasurable. So when I say object is pleasurable, object is giving me joy, I have to include all these previous conditions which are common in all cases. That I am of the nature of bliss, I love myself the most, I think that this object is giving me joy, therefore object gives me joy. Object is pleasurable, na swatah priyah. It itself independently is not able to give me that pleasure. It doesn't have capacity to give me pleasure. It is pleasurable to me because I am of the nature of bliss, I love myself the most, I think that the object is giving me joy or is dear to me, therefore it appears to be giving me pleasure. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the similar concept is explained. Here we are saying Vishaya, object. There the concept is people. It says, na bharyayaha kamaya bharya priya bhavati. Na pituhu kamaya pita priyo bhavati. न पुत्रस्य कामाय पुत्रः प्रियो भवति आत्मनस्तु कामाय सर्वं प्रियं भवति. I don't like my wife because my wife is good. I like my wife because I like myself and the wife is giving me joy. Simple as that. Blunt truth. I don't like my son because son is good. I like my son because I like myself and the son gives me joy, therefore I like my son. You ask all the mothers, they will tell first 5 years the children were best. After that something happened, Swamiji. Remember, first 5 years also they were your children, after that also they are your children. What happened? First 5 years they were only giving me joy. Afterwards, they started giving me sorrow, and right now they are only giving me sorrow. That is what has changed. Think. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Now, he uses that logic. He says, you see, swatah eva hi sarvesham atma priyatamo. Swatah eva, it itself, sarvesham, for all. Atma priyatamah, self is the most dear. Yatah, since it is like this, tatah, therefore, atma sadanandah, therefore self is of the nature of bliss. Sada anandah, ever blissful. Na asya dukkham kadachana, it never becomes sad. Sorrow is never for the self. It is ever of the nature of bliss. Why? By the same logic that we saw. That I love what gives me joy, I love myself the most, therefore I should give joy myself the most, therefore I should have joy to give joy, therefore I am of the nature of joy or bliss. The same logic. Yataha, since I am dearest to me, I have to have the joy to give to me, therefore I am of the nature of bliss. Okay. So every single experience of joy that we have, what is that joy coming from? Where is that joy coming from? It is coming from our own self. Why? Because that is the source of happiness. Are you getting? Gurudev used to explain this with a story that there were two brothers staying in one house. Both were married. The elder one's wife used to cook food. The younger one's wife used to help in other household activities. Now the younger brother started to fall sick quite often. Started to fall sick. Now the younger one's wife had a theory which she discussed with her husband inside a bedroom. These things cannot be discussed outside. She said, I think your bhabhi, your sister-in-law, your elder brother's wife is adding poison to your food. That's why you are falling sick a lot. The younger brother said, what are you saying? She is like my mother. She has been feeding me for so many years. Even before you came, even before I was married to you, she was the one who was cooking for me. She says, no. Gurudev was Gurudev, okay? So he will do all kind of things, jealousy, and I am not going to go to that extent. But the point is what? What you should do next day, when the food is served, you swap the plates. The plate that is given to your elder brother, you take it. And your plate, you give it to the brother. Then we will know. So brother, the younger one said, foolish thing, what are you telling me to do? She said, just do. For my satisfaction, you do. Reluctantly, he agreed. So next day when they were on the dining table, when the food was served, he took the elder brother's plate and gave him his plate. Elder brother said, what a childish thing. You used to do like this in childhood. Now I thought you have grown up, but still you are doing the same. He ate. Again that night he vomited. Fell sick. Now the wife started to think that, see, now so it should not happen because he ate good food, supposed to be without poison. And the elder brother ate food with poison. He didn't get sick. My husband again fell sick. So they took that younger brother to the hospital. What exactly is the issue? Now, what is happening? When the doctor told him to open his mouth, he immediately said, close the mouth again. Why? How are you alive? There is such a huge ulcer in your mouth which is stinking. You don't feel it. That ulcer is generating all the poison. So, whatever you eat, the poison of the ulcer from your own mouth gets added, and that's what you are eating. So, whatever you are eating is added with your own poison. There is no poison with the world. The poison is where? In our mind. Why I am telling this story? To explain 2 points. Number 1, if I am happy or sad, both are because of conditioning of my own mind. The objects are neither good nor bad. If I say a particular object is good, it is because I think it gives me joy. If I say a particular object is bad, it is because I get sorrow from it, not because it is bad. So first, stop coloring. Stop coloring everything according to your mind. Understand that it is not what it looks like. It is my mind which is showing it to be like this. Point number 1. Point number 2. Just as in case of that younger brother who was eating different things but finally was eating only poison. The happiness also lies within me. So the happiness that I am experiencing is not coming from the food outside. It is my own happiness. In the story, it is in the negative sense. Here I have to use in a positive sense. I may feel that I am happy when I get ice cream, but that happiness that I experience by getting ice cream is coming from my own self. Every single experience of happiness that I have, the happiness comes from my own self. Okay, then what about sadness? It is because of the coloring of the mind. For explaining both, the story was told. Now Shankaracharya extends that point and says, even in your deep sleep, the happiness that you experience is that of the self. Now, why are you explaining deep sleep? Because in deep sleep, there are no objects, there are no people. In deep sleep, you don't know whether you are a man or a woman. In deep sleep, you don't know whether you are a son or a father. In deep sleep, you don't have any objects of your like. You don't have people that you like or don't like. Still you experience that joy. From where it is coming? Even that is coming from the self. Objectless joy proves that there is no joy in the objects. And we all know that second most favorite thing is sleep. First most favorite thing is me, myself. Second most favorite thing is sleep. We crave for good sleep. Yes or no? And when that sleep comes, we don't care whether ice cream is in front of me or my most beloved person is in front of me. We sleep. We love it. Why? Because without the objects, I am closest to the self in deep sleep. The only problem is that I don't know. That's the only problem. But happiness wise, I am closest. Only thing is that I don't know that the happiness that I am experiencing is my own happiness. That's the problem. Otherwise, I am, in the words of Vedas, I am touching Brahman and coming back. Every day I am visiting Brahman. Brahman means my own, that consciousness. I am visiting Brahman every day in sleep. Ahar Brahma gamayati. Every day I am visiting Brahman and coming. Means what? Experiencing that joy and coming. The problem is I don't know that it is my own joy.